That's right. It must be Tuesday morning if Bobby Atkins is here.
Good morning.
Morning. How's it going?
Doing great. How about you, Ed?
Well, don't talk to me about rates.
No? Oh, okay.
It's like Fight Club. Let's not talk about Fight Club. First rule of Fight Club, don't talk about Fight Club. First rule, right? Don't talk about rates today.
Well,
not until the Fed meets and does what they're going to do. We won't know what's going to happen with rates. So
when are they meeting?
Today and until tomorrow. So
gotcha.
What they're going to do. I'm hoping for a slam. Here's 1% to mess everybody up, and so that we get through this a lot further.
Gotcha.
But the biggest problem is it's still certain people don't understand what they're doing to the economy. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
This could be fixed very easily.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I sometimes I feel like the people that are running the country aren't smart as the average person. But I don't want to beat up on people. But
no, I just think the difference is when you get a paycheck, no matter what you do, sometimes you just don't care what happens to everybody else who actually have to go earn for their paycheck.
So you think it's more of just malevolence? They don't really care.
I don't know. I can't say they don't care. I just think that they want to push their agenda, which whatever that is affecting the rest of us with interest rates. What's going to go with the economy. You have small businesses going to go out of business because the tractor trailer operators who are paying $20,000 a week for 3 trucks who can't just keep doing that for fuel. There's just a lot of things, and a lot of people are nervous right now in this market because of that, and we need a clear direction to move forward so that people can have a clear direction to move forward. And that's all I'm getting at. We just need to know what's going forward and where we're going to go.
Yeah. And a lot of the reason why we do these shows is kind of to give that certainty to people in this marketplace. There's with all the uncertainty that's out there right now.
Correct. And we just want to make sure you understand through the process that you're either going to rent or you're going to buy, and you're still paying a mortgage. You might as well pay your mortgage. If you can afford to buy today, because I keep seeing people, prices are going to go down. Yeah, a little bit, but not really. I mean, what's happening right now is I talked about, I was like on Monday, like so far ago.
Yeah.
And last Friday, which is it's happening a lot since we're going to talk about listings. First thing you should have a conversation with your seller is, hey, we might want to pay some money towards the buyers, buy down their rate so that they can afford their home easier, and they will be more willing. I know up until this point, sellers were like, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Now is the time that they should do something. So.
Yeah, absolutely. There's got to have to be some compromising here, especially as we're in this kind of period of flux. We're seeing kind of the average on market time is now like 30 days, when before it was 3, and we have multiple offers. And
it's just right now people are really worried right now. I mean, we went through this primary. People understand who's running for whatever, and that's not till November. So you're still not going to have a direction till November, right? Until all that stuff, and that's the issue that you're dealing with.
Well, and so what I'm seeing right now, and this is it's not necessarily, well, maybe it's anecdotal for me, but I've been holding open houses at one of my listings, right? And almost everybody that's coming through would be a contingent offer. So they're going to sell their house to purchase this one, right? And that tells me there's a lot of first-time home buyers that are non-contingent that aren't really looking, and it's 565, so it's not like, way out of the ballpark.
I know, but that house payment, if they're only putting 3% down or 5% down, conventional, could be, $3,500 a month.
Yeah. So,
and not that's, it's just scary for what people were seeing before, right? Now that you're over these certain price numbers, they're just scaring people. And I know everybody's jumping on and going away. The biggest thing we're going to talk about is listings today, and we kind of want to focus on that. But all we're kind of talking about right now is, hey, it's uncertain on there, but you still need a place to live. You're going to wish you bought, just like Bitcoin and all the other things that are in the toilet right now. You're going to wish you would have scooped them all up. And that's the same thing with houses right now. You're going to wish you actually went and got your house now.
Yeah. I've been, contacting all my buyers and saying, there's some uncertainty in the market and there's not a whole lot of competition. This is the time to go out and write that offer, because, the last couple of years, people have just gotten burnt out on getting, outbid on multiple offers, and they say, I'm going to take a break. Well, now's the time to, stop that break and get in the market.
Every one of my buyers right now are getting money towards their rate, just so you know.
Yeah, that's killer. Okay.
Yeah, because and if you do it right, I mean, you're talking almost a 1% change for the whole life of the loan. Or there are some other things called 2-1 buy downs where you do 2% the first year, 1% the second year, and the third year goes to the regular rate. Well, if you do it right, you're not even going to be in that loan with what we're going to see going forward in a year and a half from now.
Okay.
But it gives you that little break during that period of time so you can afford it.
Yeah, I look forward to talking about that more.
Yeah, we can talk about that anytime.
Okay.
All right, move on to your story today. Today is reviewing offers and title. I can't read the title. Sorry, Bobby.
Oh, sorry. What does the offer look like?
Okay, so let's start with reviewing offers. All right.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So what is included in the offer? So in the offer, there can be addendums, but typically they're going to write what we call a clean offer, which means we're not going to include any inspections, things like that in the offer. We're going to, in the offer, you figure out how much you're paying, obviously, for the house. If you're asking for any kind of concessions, up until recently, it sounds like, you have some concessions going on, but normally there wasn't any. And then we'd see, okay, is the seller going to pay for a home warranty? Sometimes that can be in the contract. Obviously, title and escrow, there's some standards around here. That's 50-50 split. And the seller pays for the title insurance.
Seller pays for the title insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And other than that, normally it's the thing you really look at is like, okay, how many days do they want this escrow to be? Most people, it's 30 days. That's pretty standard. Right. Sometimes though, if you have a buyer that's non-contingent and the seller is already out of the house, I know you said you can get it done as soon as 9 days. So
yeah, as long as we get the only caveat to that, as long as the appraiser can get it done in 24 hours, which is happening a lot now, or we get a waiver, which, because the waiver makes so without a waiver, you're probably talking 12 days. So it's just a matter of how fast you want to get in that house. And because as I always say, time kills all deals. The longer you go on this, what can happen. We've had some more houses come back on the market recently, and probably because their rate wasn't locked.
Yeah. And so that's one thing I saw in an offer recently was someone put in there, and this is the first time I've seen it, that the rate would have to stay below 5.5%. And I was like, well, that's kind of a really uncertain thing. And that's another way out of the contract.
Well, then you better lock it. And then that's the first thing I would take out of there.
Yeah, no. Yeah. there was a few other things, but
yeah, we don't care. Prevailing rate, change the rate to prevailing rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would say, because you have no control over what that loan person does, whether they lock it when they get in, because there's a lot of people who didn't lock on Friday and wish they would have. Because the rule of thumb used to be don't lock on Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it would be better on Monday or Tuesday.
No kidding.
Not this week.
No. Well, for that person that did lock, sometimes people ask me, well, what is a good offer on my house, right?
Right.
And like I mentioned earlier, a clean offer. What was a clean offer? Well, clean offer is something where basically they're not asking for anything that's outside of the norm. Something that's normal for buyers to ask for would be a home warranty.
But before they weren't even given those, but now they would probably give
those. That's most sellers aren't unrealistic. Some of the people that were in the market the last couple of years, they got greedy. They're like, no, I'm not going to pick that one because they asked for $700 home warranty.
Yeah, I got in trouble because I said asshole sellers yesterday or whatever. And I didn't mean it wrong. I just meant some of them were like, fuck, I'll take the next offer. I ain't gonna give you anything. I got 14 other people.
Yeah. And sometimes people, they'd really just split hairs just to see how much money they can get.
I want your lawnmower.
Yeah. I haven't seen that.
And then we got to have it taken out of the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can't have any personal stuff in the contract. Right.
Yeah. I mean, luckily most people don't write that stuff up.
Oh, dude, I still see it.
Really?
Yeah. Especially up in Tuolumne County when I want the tractor and I want the snow blower.
Yeah, exactly. The plow or something. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that. Yeah. It's a personal item.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
we just have them rewrite an addendum later, is taking that out of the contract.
But yeah, so basically when a buyer doesn't ask for anything except for maybe like a home warranty, that's a clean offer. Because we have our standards that we all have to split or pay for. Obviously, as a seller, you're going to pay for like I said, the title insurance, also like the smoke detectors, strap in the water here. So
that's I still don't get that there's houses that don't have CO2 detectors where they belong and the smoke detectors where they belong and the water heater strapped.
Yeah. We see it a lot of times in older homes. People that have lived there for 50, 60 years, they don't even have a smoke detector in there, so
no, because they don't like changing batteries. They don't realize the new ones come with a battery that's good for 10 years.
Yeah. The sealed lithium ones are great, man.
You just throw the whole thing away and get a new one.
Yeah.
But it might take a while because where they come from now.
Yeah.
Can't get on that cargo ship anytime.
It all comes from China, man. So then the last one.
Hold on, go back to that other one.
Okay.
One thing I want to say about, you're saying, what does a good offer look like?
Yeah.
Now, even though you said these are standard for our area, the 50, what they pay and that kind of stuff,
mm-hmm.
everything is negotiable.
That's true. Yeah.
So no matter, because I've had it where people ask for this, and in our area, it is standard to do this. So what? Doesn't mean they can't ask for it. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, when the market was really crazy to make an offer more competitive, we would even say that we would, as the buyer, we'd pay all the escrow and title fees.
No, I understand. But I'm just saying everything's negotiable depending on the market you're in.
Correct.
That little caveat there. All right, go to your next thing.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't going too far ahead.
No, I just wanted to answer that. Okay. I think those are your next one, or is that for this one?
Yeah. No. So this is for this one, right? Because we're also talking about the offers. So once we get an offer, we open escrow. And so a lot of times nowadays we'll go ahead and pre-open escrow with the escrow company. And it's good to do that. I like to do it because they'll pull a preliminary title and we know way before we ever get in contract if we have an issue. Every once in a while there's a lien on the property or on the person who owns the property that they don't even know about. Right. Could have been a past judgment that they never even got record of. Well,
they got mailed a reconveyance, or they didn't get mailed a reconveyance to get rid of it. It was mailed to them, but they didn't know what to do with it. So they threw it away.
Yeah.
And that's 9 times out of 10.
I believe
a lot of that stuff happened during 2007, 8, 9, and 10, where people were getting rid of the second mortgages for like $5,000. They pay $5,000 to get rid of a $60,000 mortgage because these people wanted some money. And then they would supposedly send a reconveyance and they didn't.
Gotcha.
And that company's no longer here and a different company has it. And they're arguing that didn't happen.
Gotcha.
It's important to get if we ever go through that time again and something like that happens, you get a copy of the reconveyance getting rid of that deed.
Gotcha. Good to know. Always nuggets of truth in here, huh?
Well, that's a personal thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't stupid. Of course, I'll pay somebody $5,000 to go away.
Yeah.
But I can't find the reconveyance, so even somebody in the industry can screw up. So I probably never received it, but that was 12 years ago. Wasn't it 12? No, it's probably 14 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a long ass time.
I know, man. I know.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So what is escrow and title? Escrow is a third party company, right? And what they do, they ensure that we have a clean title, and they also ensure that we follow the contract that we send them, right? So if we say that the deposit's 1% of a $500,000 purchase, that's going to be a $5,000 deposit. And so they make sure we follow the contract, and they also check and make sure that there's not any liens, like I said earlier. Right. Biggest thing we see come up is solar liens, right?
Yeah, those are the worst, especially leased solars.
Yeah, because the buyer's going to have to either assume it, or sometimes they require the seller actually to pay it off. And that's a big surprise to a lot of these people. They're like, I put solar in my house to save money. Now I got to pay $25,000 before I sell my house.
Yeah, but you just went up 200,000 over the last 2 years, 3 years.
I just see it a lot. We should do one on solar because I see people getting hosed on that all the time.
Yeah. Well, the problem is in our area, MID, you don't get any credits for it.
Not anymore. Yeah. I know that was a long time ago when they were doing that.
Yeah. So why even do it?
Yeah.
You can't even, unless you're going to put batteries in and keep your own power and then use it. Solar, we'll do the solar thing next. Yeah. But the one thing about escrow is it is a third party, but it's a neutral third party.
Exactly.
They're pretty much like the accounting firm for the transaction. They look at the checks and the balances. They look at the debits and credits and make sure it all equals out to where it's supposed to be. Oh, we got an earthquake.
Yeah.
Just hit my computer. Sorry.
Yeah. And you know what? Having that third party is such a blessing. Especially I recently did a divorce sale, and we were getting down to the pennies as far as disbursement of funds, as far as what everyone was owed. So the biggest thing that escrow does, they provide clear title. So they're showing the buyer that, hey, there is nobody else that owns this property. Nobody has rights to it. And this house is going to be yours and absolutely yours. It's going to be your encumbrance once we close.
Right. But so we're talking about an escrow and title company who's together, because there's two separate. In Northern California, they're the same company. In Southern California, they're two separate companies. I don't know if you know that. You have an escrow company and you have a title company. No one ever uses. Here, where's my camera? They have two separate companies, and no one ever uses the same. I don't want to say no one ever, but 9 times out of 10, you have this escrow company owned by somebody else, and then they go through a title company like we have up here. And so it's totally different than what we have up here. So when I moved up here 18 years ago, whenever it was, it's been a long time. I had to relearn how they do things up here because it was different. Everything was backwards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like county by county, some things change. Obviously, escrow and title doesn't, but
but you're talking about fees and paid. Yeah, but I'm talking about just how it's done. Even where in Southern California, we know how you take title up front.
Gotcha.
Northern California, it's done at the end.
Yeah.
Unless you work with us, we get it done up front because everything needs to be done that way. Not all companies are Northern California companies. Yeah. So anyway, move on.
So last part for this series right here is disbursement of funds, right?
Right.
So
did you bring me a check today?
No, I didn't. It's a blank one.
Oh,
just put your name on it.
Yeah. But is there no money on it? Why do I care?
Yeah. So the buyers are always wondering, who gets the money and who disperses it. So obviously, lender's fund and escrow takes care of that. But the biggest thing is sellers ask, hey, where's my money? And when am I going to get it? Right. And so you can either go down directly to the escrow and title office and pick up a paper check, or normally by the time it closes, if it closes and records in the morning, you'll have it within a couple hours if you have it wired to your savings account.
But they'll charge you $15.
Yeah.
To receive it.
Yeah.
And up to $25 to send it out. But it is there so much faster and you don't have to worry about it. But speaking of wiring funds, if you're going to wire funds to an escrow company, make sure you get it from them directly.
Yes. Through
a secured link or whatever, because there's nothing worse than sending your money to the wrong company.
Yeah. And, that's a disclosure we have in our contract too. It's just saying do not wire funds unless you have an email. And normally what they do, like the escrow and title company, they will send you an email and then they'll call you and say, hey, I sent you an email and here's the link and I can verify. And they make sure they know who's sending the money. So it's pretty dialed in.
Yeah. You just have to be careful. There was a couple in San Diego who got that, wired $685,000 to buy their house, and it went to the wrong company. And by the time it was figured out, it was in multiple other accounts and then went to other accounts, and they never got their money back and they never got their house.
And so this wasn't like a fraud case where it went to South Africa.
It was a fraud case, but it went. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But everything looked legit. I'm just saying, be very careful. Call the company, call the agents, find out what's, and call them direct and just verify the account numbers again. The same thing they do for us every time they wire money to us. Yeah. They want to make sure they verify, they call, is this your account number? What's your routing number, all that. Yeah. Just re-verify before you send it in. And if you're too nervous, just go get a cashier's check and walk it in there. Yep. Do not give them a personal check. No. If you're putting in funds, because then they got to wait a week. Yeah. Yeah. That's about it.
Cool, man.
All right. Thanks for coming on, talking about escrow and title and what that means. And if there's any other questions you guys want us to talk about, Bobby likes to do these informational series that we can, besides talking about the market. So remember, we'll BS a little bit in the beginning, talk about the market, and get into the series. So we will have this on our YouTube channel, and still will be here on Facebook. But the YouTube channel will be broke up by sections, so you can just search with what you want to look at. And again, Bobby, thanks for being here today.
Thanks so much, Ed. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody, have a great day, and Bobby and I will see you Thursday.
All righty.